Hi, Donald here with Floating Feathers Kayak Fly Fishing School, Crescent Kayaks, and Bending Branches. And this is a video to help you get some way of making your seat riser on your Crescent Kayaks just a little more quieter. So, if you can hear this, I'm just going to go ahead and move this around a little bit. So, if you're ever sitting in the kayak, you have a seat riser, you know it makes some noise, right? It's cutting into your pads, things like that, right? So what we're going to do is do a little modification and come up with a way to make it sound like this. Let me take this one off of here. No sound, it doesn't move, easy peasy. So, I'm going to show you this modification. It's actually really simple. The only thing you're going to need, and I'm going to have the list of stuff below, so you're going to need some door trim in your color. I'm going to use red because I have red trim accents on here, but you can get this in about any color, and red black is the two colors that look really good on your Crescents because that's the accent color you want to go for. So I've got some red stuff here. I'll put the part number where I got this off of Amazon down in the link below. You're going to need a soft hammer, a dead blow hammer, or just a rubber mallet, something nice and easy, especially if you have hand injuries or weak hands, or if you're one-handed, it really, you're handicapped or something when you only have one arm, that hammer is going to come in really handy. And you need some type of cutting device to cut the door trim when you get ready to get to the end of that, to put the two pieces together. And I'll show you what that means in just a moment. But I use a knife, you can use a pair of scissors, something like that. So I'm going to rearrange the camera. I'm going to get you focused down in here so you all can see what I'm doing for this modification for the seat riser for Crescent Kayaks. Okay, so I can see I've got the seat riser sitting in the light tackle here, just like it comes in. It moves a little bit, it makes some scratchy sounds. So what we're going to do to eliminate that is we're just going to flip this over, just like it sits. Excuse me, I'm going to flip this over upside down. Now I take the stash pocket covers off just because it makes it a little easier for me. But what you're going to do is you're going to take your door trim, and again, I'll put this part number down in the link below. I'm going to use some red here. And you're going to start, I like to start right in the middle of the front of the seat riser. So I just, nice and easy, I just push it on with my finger, and then I'll push it down, and then I'll kind of push it with my thumb and forefinger just to make sure it's lined up. Now, if you only have one hand or you've got weak fingers, you can take a little rubber mallet, and it's going to be a little noisy here for a minute, but you can tap this nice and easy and get that down in there. And you can line that up. Just be sure before you tap it down, or before you push it down with your fingers or even using the hammer, that it is lined up and there are no kinks in it, no folds in it, things like that. So we're just going to go all the way around here, and I'm going to do this in real time so you can see it really doesn't take a lot of time at all. So I just tap that down a little bit, go back around. It's actually really easy to do this with this particular part, this particular door trim. So we're going to walk this all the way around the back side here. I have a little extra here because I have multiple seats, but if you only have one seat, obviously you're not going to need this 25 feet of this. But I like the 25 feet because if you mess up or you want to take it off and put it back on or whatever, it gives you a little extra to do that. So I'm just going to work my way around this back corner here. And again, you've got to take a little bit of time just to make sure it's pushed down because inside this door trim, there's there's two pieces of metal, and that's what actually holds this together. When you push it down, those two pieces of metal are kind of shaped like this. So it's like this, and as you push it in, they go back together, sort of, but they kind of pinch, and that's what helps hold this door trim in place on doors, and of course on this seat riser. So by tapping that down a little bit with a hammer, or you can just push it. So if you have pretty good hand strength or thumb strength, you can actually just push this down and be just fine. I'm going to tap it though. You can also use a little bead of silicone if you want to have a little extra security, but I have not had any issues with this coming off. It actually goes on nice and simple, nice and easy. This front part can be a little bit of a tricky one, and that's where you got to take your time make sure it's lined up, and then come back, and I get almost to there, and then I'll tap this again, and then I'll get this just about where I want it. And as you can kind of see, there's a nice little break there. So I'll just take my knife or my pair of scissors, and I'll push this down, and then I'll just take my knife and hold it right there, make a little mark, and then I'll pull that back up. And when I cut that, all right, that should be exactly where I need it. Now, so you can kind of see that metal in there, right? I'm hoping you can see that metal in there. But that's how that kind of holds on. It's those two pieces. Now I can just push that together. And sometimes if you use scissors or a knife, you'll kind of spread that metal out a little bit. So you can just take your fingers or a pair of pliers and pinch that. And you can go around this whole thing and just kind of pinch that. Just like that. Make sure it's all in place. Push it down. All right, that was it. So now we're going to flip this over. You remember how noisy it was, right? Listen. Right? That's the kayak moving on the stand. See if I can hold the kayak. There you go. Nice and quiet and easy. So, if you've got red, it goes really well with a nice red seat, right? Gives you a nice, beautiful accent. You can mark it that way. If you have a favorite color, you can do your favorite color as well. Like I said, it comes in red. It comes in black if you just kind of want to blend it in. And not only works on the seat risers for the CK1, the light tackle, and the crew, but it also works very well for the Sup Plus seat riser, which this is. So this goes for the Sup Plus, as you can tell by that nice indent right here. But that Sup Plus, that door trim works on all of the seat risers from Crescent Kayaks. All right, so that is a seat riser modification. It's using door trim on the bottom of your seat riser to make it grab a little bit better and, well, make it just a little bit quieter. So there's red, there's black, and it fits on the CK1, the light tackle and crew, and you can do it on the Sup Plus. So no matter what seat riser you have from Crescent Kayaks, that nice little mod with a little bit of door trim, a knife or cutting thing like a pair of scissors, and a little hammer in about 5 minutes. That's all you're going to need. All right, thank you all for watching. Again, this is Donald with Floating Feathers Kayak Fly Fishing School. Excuse me, Crescent Kayaks and Bending Branches. Tight lines and safe paddles.